Hello guys and welcome to GA Flying. Today we're in California. We'll be checking out the new update for California, City Update 13, and we will also be checking out the Learjet from Flysimware, and this will be the first flight that I'm having on the channel with this plane. Okay, so let's just get started. As you can see, a lot of stuff here, so let's try to do something with it. Okay, so let's try to remove this, also this, and the covers here. Okay, so one additional thing is that we can check out the status of those systems here, right, of the struts, tires, but we will need to change some settings for it. Okay, so flight interface, and we will need to have the tooltips. Okay. So just so you know, because for people that normally don't use tooltips, it might not be apparent that this is really like an option here. Okay. Okay, so no gear tires. Okay, you just have to point at it and just wait. For people that use the carrier mode, it's probably obvious, but I'm not really that much. Okay, no strut, everything fine. And the status is saved between flights, so this should remember my landings from the last flights, which not always were very soft, so it's good to change the status here. Okay, it's a beautiful Lake Tahoe here. Once again, the free scenery that everyone gets. Pretty interesting and very close to the cities that were updated. Okay, so this is fine. I think it's like 1 health for both of those. Okay, also fine. Those cones, I think, come from GSX, but not from the plane. Oh, this looks really nice in this sun. Okay, we have morning sun because we start pretty early today. Okay, nice. And the last one, nice. And now allow me to disable this view because I don't like it. I was actually checking if there is if there is any function to toggle it, like a hotkey to toggle it, but I couldn't find it. There was only one like for nameplates for the whole plane. Okay, so let's just get inside. You will see some slight graphical problems, but most of those come from conflicts with a chase plane. Because for some reason, like this plane has more problems with chase plane than other planes. That's saying chase plane is like early access now, so there are a lot of issues. So it shouldn't be really a problem with the plane. And also the developer of the plane said that they will look into it, so maybe they will be able to fix it. Yeah, so this light really looks good with this cockpit. Okay. And before we start, something that might be of interest to a lot of people is the current state of the plane. So it's still in early access, the 2024 version, but we pretty much get patches, updates 2 times a week, I think, on average. So it's lots and lots of stuff. So let me just show you some examples just quickly. Okay, December 29th, 1.3. And here, pretty much, the whole workflow of coming into the plane was fixed. Also, the save state system was repaired because there was a bug in Sim Update 4 that many planes have, but here they have changed it to like a custom system. And one important thing is that there is a lot of state saving here, but from what I know, not everything is state saved, okay? Because like pretty much in every changelog, they are writing that they are adding something to the state save system, right? So it seems like not everything is covered, okay? Now we also have a new gauge for the cabin temperature, so you can also play around with it like in black square planes. Before there was only like a very simplified one here. So this system of this internal temperature system seems pretty advanced because according to what I have read and what they have shown on their YouTube channel, it even depends on like how far you open the door, right? So if it's only half open, then the exchange of temperatures between inside and outside will be much slower, which is pretty cool. Actually, let me see, because the door is also something that is pretty unique. So maybe let's go outside before we continue with the changelog, and I will show you the whole procedure. Okay, so let's just open it up. Okay, now you can click here to get inside the plane. Normally you would be teleported close to the entry, but this is once again something the chase plane does. It moves you to the cockpit. Okay, so now how do we close the door? And this is also something that is fun. So first here to pull it up, then you block it, then you close the top. Now you need to use this motor for it to be well, pulled inside. Okay, now that is pulled, you can close it, and now you turn off the motor. Okay, so a lot of fun. Okay, so we do have an empty cabin, so let's add some people here. So sadly, there was like a custom EFB in the 2020 version, but now it's integrated with 2024, and the developer decided to stay with the vanilla interface just to make it more compatible, and also because he also wants it to work with the career mode once it will be available on the marketplace. Okay, so sadly we have to use this interface, which I don't like that much, but still. So what are the ones that look better? Okay, now let me just check this one. This one. And check this one. Okay, let's take a look at the cabin. Okay, and we have those people. We have two of this. Okay, I will change them later in flight, but for some reason the people inside look worse than in the Cessna, the 414. Also, that is also done by Flysimware. They kind of look creepy, and like the other ones looked pretty lifelike, so I don't know why they changed, to be honest. Yeah, let me remove this guy, because this is seriously disturbing. Okay, and also let us add some initial fuel. Why initial? I will just show you in a second. And so let's make it 400. 410 is also fine. Okay, and let's get back to the cockpit, and sorry for the interruption, we will just continue with the patch notes. Right, so there is lots and lots of stuff. So the interesting stuff is marked yellow by me. Okay, so now you get bug splatter, insect splatter on the windshield, which is nice, and it gets more and more with the flight. Okay, they have like made very advanced rain effects here. Okay, and you also get this like wet coating effect on the hull outside, which also looks nice. And also there is a custom fuel track that we will also take a look at. Okay, so this is the new gauge, as I said, and this is like all in December. Okay, we have more options in the EFB that I will also show you. And as you can see, pretty much a patch every few days. There are new presets for the loading of the plane, specifically for the career mode. As I said, it's kind of funny because you see career mode stuff in many of the patch notes, right? But at the same time, it's not available for the career mode because it's not on the marketplace yet. So it's just being prepared for the marketplace, I think. Okay. And this is interesting. This is about outside icing. So instead of having it very simplified, like 3 stages of visual icing, for example, the developer has figured out how to do it like a very smooth process, with the ice getting more and more in a more smooth way that you will see it in many other planes. And this is something that is also interesting about the plane, that the developer seems really fascinated in all of those new 2024 functions. and he really wants to try them out in this plane, right? So we can expect that it will really be a work in progress, and we will see more and more of this advanced stuff here. Okay, a lot of talking. Let's just fire it up. Oh, sorry, fueling. Okay, so not yet. Okay, so let me just show you. We do have a custom app here for the plane with lots and lots of stuff, including failures. Okay, but what we want now is the fuel page, and we can call the fuel truck. Okay, let me just show you outside. Okay, let's get this one out of the way, and we can see it being connected to the tip tanks, and I think it's already starting to pump the fuel. Okay, so one thing with this tablet is that in the standard view it's kind of messed up, but if you go to windowed view, it will fix itself, right? And then it's also easier to read, and you can also resize it to read all of the systems. Okay, that's saying the best way to monitor if we don't have too much fuel is just this one, because here you will see the sum and not just like the separate tanks like in the other view. Okay, so let's just stop at 50. I mean 450. You can take a look at the plane. Yeah, I have to say, like in some lighting conditions and with this livery is included. With this livery, I really like how it looks. Okay, maybe apart from this strange wheel. Okay. Okay, let's minimize this for now. We can do some additional. Whoa, sorry. The zoom is crazy today. Okay, so batteries, inverters. Okay, here. Beacon light. Okay, so we can already prepare some stuff here. And let's fasten the seat belts for our passengers. Okay, and in the meantime, we are already above what we wanted, so we can go back to the app here and just end fuel service. Okay, so it's just like a more immersive way of fueling the plane here. Oh, I still see. Why do I? Okay, so this is new. I was flying it like 5 times, and this is the first time this has happened. So let me just take a look outside. It's no longer connected. Okay, so let me close this, open it again. Maybe I found a way to mess it up finally. Is it pumping? Yeah, it is. Okay, so let's do call track and then end fuel service. Okay, now it's fine. Maybe because I disabled it from the full page view that I haven't done before, so it wasn't working, right? But now it works. Okay. And let's just get started. We have beautiful weather, and I also really like this airport here. It's a great location. Okay, so the startup is pretty easy. You just put it to start, right? Wait for 10, and then you will have this button here. Okay, let's just monitor how it starts, but it should be fine. For this flight, I have failures off, sadly. As I said, there is a failure system, like a random failure system, but I'm not feeling secure enough, I guess, in this for now to really try it, especially since it really requires a lot of attention, even like normally flying it without the failures. Okay, so first starter to off, and then we turn on the generator, right? Let's do the same with the other one. 10%. I can already prepare this one. Okay, stable generator. Okay, so now we can also turn on the other stuff. So let's go with the emergency battery. It will turn on if the batteries fail. Okay, autopilot, radio altitude, no heating for now, avionics master. Okay, let me just see. Stall warning, I think, comes in later. And now let's prepare slowly for the taxi. So nav light is here. And taxi lights are in the middle. Okay. Here also, let's set up the cruising altitude. So we will go to 41,000 feet today. Okay, and here we have heating that will be needed, right? I mean, the temperature will be needed. The heating will be needed to raise the temperature. But we will need bleed air for it and also cabin air. Okay. So I can show you that you can also have the checklist here. There are actually 2 click spots hidden here. One is for the yoke, and one is for this attachment for the EFB. Okay. So let me have my checklist here, and I want the before taxi checklist. Okay, avionics set, not ready yet. Let's put it to standby. Okay. Radar standby, circuit breakers in. There are lots and lots of circuit breakers, and most of them work. Okay. Windshield heat as required. Anti-skid, is anti-skid on? No. So let's put it on. Passenger briefed, and we have fasten seatbelts on. No smoking, okay, and parking brake is set. We can also reset the fuel totalizer, which is here. I cannot really see it because it's under the brake. It's here. Okay. And taxi before takeoff we will do once we taxi. Yeah, really nice day here in California, so let's just hope that the sights will be great. Boy. I think this is because of chase planes. Something I have those like micro freezes in this plane. Either way, let's just set it up for the destination altitude. So here we have to click it once to be able to set the thousands, because otherwise it will like take forever, which is really nice because in some jets there is no option to go by the thousands, right? And then it takes lots and lots of time to set up a very high altitude that you will need, right? Okay, so what's the track that we have to set? 244. Okay, fine. Faster this way. Yeah, when it comes to the sounds, I think it's like a mixed bag. It kind of sounds like some of the sounds are very recent and very high quality, and some of them seem to be very old and like just refurbished. So for me it sounds like we have 2 different sets of sounds that are kind of like used both in this plane, which might be true because from what I know this plane is pretty old and it came from P3D. It's just the whole architecture behind it that is totally new. And according to the developer, newer than in many other planes. Well, strange. Like, okay. Okay, and with this I think we can taxi. Just not to waste time. And one important thing, actually, good moment to talk about it, is that we have lots and lots of special buttons here, pretty much. So we have this one, this one. This is not only the trim, but it's also like for pitch, and also this one has a special function. So you will have a lot of additional bindings. And the first of the binding that will be useful here will be nose steering, right? So let me just use the binding here, steer on my joystick, but I can also show you what the binding is. So now you should see it. Toggle tail hook is turning on the steering, and actually to turn it off you would have to press this button here. And this one I haven't bound because it's only like one unique use for me. Actually, it's more complicated, okay? But I have bound so many additional keys for this plane that this one, I said I can just click here, okay? If I need it. Okay, so let's just start. I never remember where the taxiway is here. Is it here? I think. Whoa. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Let me just... I think it's here, or is it not? Oh, it's also here, so I think it makes more sense to go here. So last time I was starting from here, and I think it was here. You kind of have to ride the brakes with this one because it's getting acceleration pretty fast, if not fully loaded. Okay, so let's maybe prepare here this one, and let's do the rest of the checklist. Okay, thrust reversers are stowed, they are. Engine instruments, nav equipment, radar. Okay, spoilers retracted, flaps set to 8, which is used like 90% of the time from a video that I have seen. Trims set for takeoff, and we also have the warning here that the trim is not set properly. Okay, so the trim is here. And let's do the calculation how much trim we need, and this is also provided here, which is pretty neat. Performance takeoff page, Celsius please, flaps 8, okay, and sync from the sim, okay, and this one. So let's set it up. So pitch trim is 6 degrees. So this is here. Okay. So kind of here. Then N1 is 97.6, so we can... I'm not sure what is causing it really. It's only when I look around, pretty much when I keep the camera steady, it's not happening. So I might imagine it's related to just chase plane and the plane really not liking themselves, right? Okay, 97.6, and this is N1 actually for this one. Okay, and the rotation speed will be 125. Okay, so let's just set it up. Kind of in the middle, so here. Okay, I'm not sure about this one, like the standby horizon, because before when I was flying it, I could just like uncage it, but now I can't. So not sure what has happened here. Okay, so let's proceed with the checklist then. Pressurization is set, cabin air on. Okay, and now we can pressurize the plane, which means that also the heating will start working. So let's make it really warm. So our passengers are probably freezing by now. There is actually like a backup heater that, from what I could see, like pilots use to warm it up, but it's not functional, sadly, on this plane. Okay, anti-ice systems. Okay, let me just hide the yoke. Okay, and electrically heated windows. I think pitot heat only concerned when we will be lined up, and this is important because this is a free point switch, and I have seen many people overheating their windows because they just put it to on, and on is maximum, because actually when you move it to on, it will start accelerating from 0 to 100 in around 10 minutes, right? So for example, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now on hold. So it should be around 50% now. Okay, and I think this is fine, and now we will just line up. Steering on, windshield heat we can see here, and the rest will be in the next part of the checklist. Okay, we can see the temperature rising here. Let me make sure. I will take the... Oh, actually I want this one. Okay. Got confused there for a second. Okay, and now we can also turn on the radar and here to weather, because it can also see the terrain. Similar like in the Cessna, it's pretty much the same device here. Okay. Let's move this one to altitude. We are pretty high up in the mountains. Let me just make sure we have everything. And we'll just switch this one to the data. So here we can see our ground speed, 20 knots, which should be still fine. Come on, game. Yeah, I am considering getting rid of chase plane actually, despite it being really cool in many ways. But I mean, between this plane not flying correctly with it and there's still the pilot being missing when looking from the outside view. I think it's kind of more hassle than benefit for now, but I still haven't made this decision. It actually, at least the cinematic view, really works well with this plane, right? It's just looking around in the cockpit that is not perfect. Okay. Now this is really concerning and this is really lagging. So it's much more than yesterday when I was flying, which is really strange. Either way, landing lights, okay, and let's do the lineup checklist now. Okay, so transponder to alt is fine. Thrust reversers to be able to abort the takeoff also are armed. Pitot heat comes on now. Lights, always forget about the recognition light, so now I did remember. Ignition is this one, and the annunciator panel is fine. Okay, nice. So you can start, and I will try not to turn the camera too much. So once we line up, I will also set the heading. Okay, let's just line up here. And let me just set up the rest of the stuff. So heading back is already centered, it's nice. Sadly, you cannot click it to center it, at least as far as I know. Maybe there's some way, but I don't know. The course is set, and one additional thing that we can also do is set the flight director, because takeoff mode doesn't work with those old avionics. You would need to use the newer Garmin devices that you can also use in this plane, the 750s. But actually, can I use the flight director here? Let me just see. Because when I do this one, I just get the flight director, but it's not moving up. But I can do it manually. And I will just show you the hotkeys for it in a second. Okay, so here, pitch up, pitch down. Decrease AP pitch hold reference and increase it, okay? And this will be also useful. It's kind of a replacement for vertical speed mode that is not very advanced in this plane, okay? Let me just hide it. And with this is really concerning. Okay, let me maybe reduce the details, because otherwise it will be really jumpy here. Okay, maybe this will help. I'm not sure, but still, let's fly. Okay, and this is our target N1, right? Okay, rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Okay, reducing the power slightly, moving up the flight director. Okay, let's accelerate a little bit. So actually some sources say that the initial climb is like at 200 feet, but some say it's 250, right? And the article from the real pilot, he pretty much says they are using 250. Okay, so we are coming up at 200, right? So let's make sure we don't have the flaps anymore. And now we should nicely accelerate, hopefully. Let me just adjust this one. And actually, we can engage the autopilot, which should hold it like this. And now let's just turn to join our GPS here route. Okay, heading. So one thing that I think is missing from the checklist, or I'm always forgetting, is the yaw damper. So actually here you turn on the yaw damper system, but it's still not on, right? It's just ready. And then once we are in the air, we just engage it. Okay, 4,000 feet climbing. So the real pilots said that they are using the temperature for the climb and keep it around 800. Oh yeah, jumping again. Okay, and altitude select, right? So it will catch the altitude set here. And also, as we don't have any vertical altitude mode, we can use the pitch director here, so the flight director, to adjust the pitch of the plane. So those are the shortcuts that I have shown you before. So once again, I can show them to you. Should be visible. Okay, and I have lowered it a little bit just to accelerate. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, and let's do the after takeoff checklist. Okay, so yaw damper engaged, we have done it. Let's disarm the thrust reversers. Okay, disarmed, flaps up, ignition can go off. Okay, pressurization, we do have a difference here. It's rising pretty, yeah, but there is a difference, so it should be fine. Landing taxi lights off. Okay, done. Hydraulic pressure is here, and it seems fine. And angle of attack sensor, was it not? Yeah, here. It's in the green. Okay, so it's fine. So it seems like we are climbing. We can change the heading a little bit to join with the route sooner, right? And here you can see all of the data. We are already at like 300 ground speed. It's a very, very fast plane, despite climbing at 4,000 feet, right? Okay. Let me just lower the flight director a little bit more with my joystick, and we should accelerate. Let's arm nav. Is it? Did I? Here. Not sure why this works like this, because I was flying it yesterday and it was like normally arming. I don't know. We will see. Let's hope that it will work. In general, it's my like 5th flight, I think, with this one, so I still don't feel that I fully understand it. But it seems like it's working. Yeah, nicely joining here. Okay, and we still don't have 250, so let me lower the nose a little bit more, and we can add some power. Stay around 800. That's saying we can continue with the climb checklist. So, okay, we overshoot a little bit, but it still should be fine. Let's get rid of the seat belts. Pressurization was checked. Altimeters. So once again, as far as I know, there is no like standard pressure here. Let me check. No, doesn't change. Okay. Recognition light off, about 180, so let's just do it. Air conditioning is not on, oxygen pressure is here and seems fine. I'm not sure, they said that they have fixed the checklists, but they still seem wrong to me, and you will also see during the descent checklist there is like some funny stuff there. And also I'm not sure I understand this one, to be honest. Crew passenger oxygen masks done. Seems like funny stuff. Okay. Okay, so maybe we have a lot of wind here. But we are flying in the right direction. So from what I could see from the forecast, there was a lot of clouds above Sacramento. So let's hope that they will not make any problems. Once again, we can add some power. And I can lower the nose even more. There is actually also speed hold, but pretty much in every situation when I was applying speed hold, it was kind of adjusting kind of violently, so vertical speed was like much smoother, I would say. Okay, let me just see the message. Okay, so VNAV profile is not really interesting for us because, yeah, exactly, it's still a long way to go along the coast. Okay, so this is fine. Let's make sure that we are on Alt Select. Windshield heat is on. This is on. This is the engine heating, right? And this is the surface heat, pretty much. And this is alcohol from for the windshield and radome, right? So the nose of the plane. Okay, let me just make sure that everything is set up nicely. It's getting hotter. This looks nice. So it seems like we've done everything kind of correctly. I'm just concerned by this wind here. It seems to be very strong. Okay, this is not that fast, but it's totally normal for this one to cruise at 500 knots ground speed. Okay, let me show you some outside views. I will just lower the volume because we are just close to the altitude. Okay, let's go back. And it has pretty much captured the altitude here. Okay, so this is fine. So when we will be descending, I will show you the other key that I have bound for this one, for the maneuver mode. Okay, this is very similar to the sync mode in the British Aerospace 146, where you can just for a minute, well, for a second, disable the autopilot, set pitch, and then enable it again, and it will hold the pitch, right? So it's kind of a correction done to the autopilot. Okay, now we can reduce the speed a little bit. I mean, like the power, because we will be too fast in a second. Yeah. So normally I'm kind of using 740 for the cruise, and it seems to be nicely keeping the line while not going over it. Okay. So let me just see what the cruise checklist is. Okay, pressurization, we checked it, was fine. Fuel management, let's take a look, because we might have some stuff in the fuselage tank. So let's talk about this one. So the fuselage tank is kind of the backup, right? Money is not being fed from it. It's just like for keeping fuel. So if you have fuel in the fuselage tank and not anywhere else, the engines will just go off, right? Because it's not being pumped. We also have the wing tanks, which are providing fuel to the engines, and the tip tanks that are naturally moving the fuel to the wing tanks. I mean, as long as the jet pumps are on, right? So we need to get the fuel from the fuselage tank to the wing tanks, okay? So in this case, it's this function. Okay, and now it will be slowly pumped to the wings. Okay, let's not move the camera too fast. And let's do some outside views, I mean window views in this case. Okay, let's check the other window. This is like a nice effect, pretty realistic. Okay, so this is the door, and this is our creepy passenger. I wish they would just use the passengers from the Chancellor. Yeah, they are all so sad. And pretty much there are also like some women that you can spawn, and they are also so sad. Maybe that's how everyone looks in a business jet when traveling, I'm not sure, but like, yeah, it's pretty depressive, like when you look back. Okay, let's take a look outside. Yes, I said Sacramento is sadly covered by clouds. But according to the weather map that I have seen, after Sacramento it should be getting nicer and nicer along the coast. Okay, let's see if there's anything left here to do. I don't think so. Let me just do a check by my own. This should be fine. The hydraulic pump is only for some rare situations. For example, if you want to use the handbrake before having the engines on, or when you want to exercise the flaps before you have the engine on, and then you just turn it off. So it's not used for flight. I mean, probably as long as you don't have any failures. Okay, this seems fine. So I guess I will just come back to you once we will see something actually below us. Okay, see ya. Okay guys, so it seems like I have been lied to by the weather forecast, because pretty much everything is under clouds. We have passed San Francisco, but there is almost no visibility. You could just see a sliver of the bay. Here we have some nice mountains, so it seems like in the end... Oh, this is a nice view. Okay, I like this. This profile of the plane is great. So it seems like we will pretty much see only the terrain along the coast, and then Santa Barbara, where we will be landing, and which is also fully remodeled now. Okay, so let's go back inside, or we can stay with this one for now. Yeah. At least the volume is lower here. But I wanted to show you the map, where we are and what we have to do. Okay, so we started in Lake Tahoe. Here was Sacramento, here was San Francisco, and we just left the bay here. Okay, and now we are probably somewhere here. And we'll be landing in Santa Barbara. There is a GPS approach from somewhere here, I guess, going like this. So this is what we will try. There's actually only one runway that is safe to land for us, because the two runways here that are parallel are like on the edge of what we can safely use. So we will just use the longer one, which should not be a problem as the wind is supposed to be 0 knots, right? So we can select the one that will be the safest for us. Also, I just hope that we will have some better visibility along the way here, because, well, 18 cities were changed and there should be a lot of new stuff. I was flying here yesterday, just doing like short scouting, and to be honest, I didn't see any differences. That's saying I'm not coming from California, not from America, so there is for sure a lot of subtle differences. And for sure, from what I have seen like on other videos, also the elevation data is like more precise. So all of the hills and mountains should have a higher resolution. And this is also something that I think we will see in Santa Barbara, because there's like one cliff above the city, so it should be a nice view when we'll be coming in for the landing, I would imagine. That saying, let's just clean up stuff, okay? So as you can see, the fuselage tank is at 0, so we can turn it off. Okay, here I have also set up our approach. Okay, here it's already in, and we can also already program the VNAV, the primitive VNAV that we have here. So let me just show you how it's done. So we will be starting with epoxy, which according to this one should be at 4,400, right? So let's do this one. Oops, not a fan, not very convenient. Okay, nice. So now here, let's do 2 miles before epoxy. Okay, let's do it 1 mile. Okay, and then here epoxy. Okay, and we will be descending with 1,500. Okay, nice. And here we should get let me just make sure, did I miss it already? Yeah, I'm always forgetting that we are so high up. I was waiting for... Okay, so here we have the one that we have to use, right? So we are already over what we have planned, which is not a problem, because the real pilot said that they were even descending with like 4,000. And as long as the angle of the deck is okay, then the passengers don't even notice. Okay? Yeah, it's too much waiting for nice views. Okay, so let's just set it up. So we need 4,000, oops, 4,400. Too much looking out of the window then. Okay, let's just go alt select. Let's go VS. Okay, and now I'm pressing this additional button. So the one that stands for this one, this maneuvering mode. Let me just quickly show you the binding for it. Here you can see it's smoke toggle, okay, for some reason. And let's just do it. You can see this, you can hear the sound. Actually, I think I need to disable this one. Do I? I'm not sure. No, it should be fine. Okay, and I need 2,000 and some more. Alright, so kind of here. And now I turn it back on, and as you can see, it has captured the vertical speed that I have set. It's really good. It's really good, I guess, and it feels good for a plane that is so twitchy and so fast, right? And you can have full control, and by the press of a button, what you are doing is being locked by the autopilot, which is also nice and smooth for the passengers, I would imagine. Okay, let's add some speed. And you can see it's already 2,000, right? So it's okay. So by going down 2,000, we should make it without a problem. Okay, let's just do the descent checklist. Windshield, let's stay with the one that we have. This one goes to field elevation, and the elevation for Santa Barbara is 13, so pretty much 0. But we... Whoa, freeze, whoa, bad. Okay, I don't know what I clicked. Whoa, I'm not sure, guys, what is happening today, because I was flying it in the past and I had some freezes, but the freezes today are just crazy, so I'm not sure. Sorry for that. Okay, so let's go down with this one. Okay, so here we have sea level, but normally we add around 500, right? So it should be here. Okay, we can turn down the temperature because it's getting hot. I'm just wondering what I have clicked, because I could hear a click sound, and I'm not sure what it was. Okay. Let's hope it was nothing important. Okay. Altimeters, okay. Here you can see this is also, it seems to be a mistake, because it should be set now to the, because this seems like it would be for crossing the flight level 180 when climbing and not when descending, because this is when you set this one to standard altimeter, right? That's saying the destination altimeter setting is 3019er, so let's just set it up. Okay, nice. And now it's once again higher, so let's just, although we are close to being 3000, okay, because the scale changes, so I think it's still fine. Okay, let's see what else. Pressurization. Lag. Come on. Okay. And no smoking fasten seat belts as soon as we cross the flight level here. Okay. So for now, I think I can show you some outside views. We should be safe, and it will be some time till we really descend. Enough. I really like this one. Yeah, especially with this livery. I mean, it's probably a little bit too much color, and I haven't decided if I really like it yet or not, but there is just something about it. Okay, let's just click. Yeah, so total fuel is still fine, and the majority should be now in the wings, right? Let's just double check. Yeah, it is. Okay, so this is fine. When it comes to the sync function, it actually sadly doesn't work, right? It's locked on off. Oh wow, no, not this one. And you can just change fan or turbo, which I'm not sure if it makes sense if it's on off, right? So there is some stuff that is still not working, sadly. Okay, I'll select this here. Vertical speed is locked, and we are still on the navigation. I'm not sure about this RN, because I'm almost sure I was just reading about it 1 day or 2 days ago, but I couldn't find it in the manual, because normally it goes from armed to captured. I'm not sure what LRN stands for, okay? So if you guys know, please let me know. Yeah. So all of the illegal cannabis plantations are somewhere here, I guess. It's an interesting story, actually, that they have legalized cannabis in California, as you probably know, but there are still lots and lots of illegal plantations, just because it's probably much cheaper to do it in an illegal way without paying taxes and stuff. Okay, we can accelerate a little bit. There was also an ILS approach to Santa Barbara, but the GPS approach was looking a little bit safer, going over the mountains, so I decided just to use it. Okay, and I think everything was done, what we are doing for the descent. So I guess we will just jump ahead to a moment where we will be closer to the landing. So, see you. Okay guys, so as you can see, we do have some detail on the ground finally. No more clouds. Let's see how this will look with the window view. If we won't get like crazy lag here. I mean, this is pretty good like elevation data. You can see here, nicely done. Yeah, this really looks nice. I would enjoy taking like a helicopter and flying here. Pretty interesting. Let's just see the other side. Okay, so this is a wing. Not really what we wanted, but we can do this great cinematic view here, and let's just see how much we can see from the ground detail. Okay, but I would just wish that it would stop. Okay. It seems to only happen if I move the camera. If it's like static, then the performance is good, and also like the frame rate is pretty nice. So it might really be like a conflict between chase plane and this one. Yeah, this looks nice. I'm always fascinated by all of those like formations done by the water, I guess. In this case, there is also like a lot of probably like some trails. Yeah, okay. Although I still have some lag. So let's just see what we have to do to prepare. Okay, so let's do the descent calculations. I mean the landing calculations pretty much. So we do have the calculator here, which is pretty unique and pretty nice. The elevation is 13, so not very high, and the temperature is 7 degrees Celsius. Okay, so let's see. Okay, we are just close to the altitude that we need to be at. Okay, so VREF is 120, so let's just mark it here. Okay, and we will need 4,400, so this will be already too long for the smaller runways, so it's good that we are taking the longest one here. Okay, and let's just go here, this should be fine. Okay, we can always use spoilers to get a little bit slower, so let's maybe do this. I can show you on the outside here. and those are very effective. So just don't, here you can see them, so just don't forget to pull them in, right? Okay, let's get rid of them. And we can go with first notch of flaps, because you can do it as soon as you go over 200, like go below 200. Okay. We should be safe at this altitude, so let's hope that this is correct. And let's check other stuff. Okay, it's a flaps 8. Okay, spoilers retracted. This is fine. Landing gear too fast. Anti-skid on. Let me just see. Is anti-skid on? It is on. Okay. Engine sync off. Doesn't work in this plane. Okay. Thrust reversers armed. Okay. Flaps down. Hydraulic pressure check. It's here. It's fine. Ignition on. So we can already prepare ignition on then for the approach. Where's the click spot? Okay, nice. And it's too soon to disengage the autopilot, so we will just proceed with the approach. Let me just make sure that we will be stable, because I want to show you some views then. Seems like we will. So we can already use the next altitude here on this approach, which is 2,900. Okay, we'll just do Alt Select, and then once we go over this one, we will just enable it. I'm not sure, maybe we will be able to fly this GP RNAV approach automatically, because it was working for me when I was trying it in Juneau in Alaska during a snowstorm, which was pretty fun. Actually, the funny thing is that when I was flying in Juneau in a snowstorm, it was super cold, super windy. I had a lot of bug splatter here, and here during this weather I don't really. I guess this is this one. And maybe it's also a thing with the light. Okay, seems promising. We do have the landing lights already. Everything is armed. This is fine, this is fine. So it seems like we should be able to land. So the unique thing about this plane, and one thing that I really like, because it is unique, is that normally this is really twitchy and like totally overpowered, like a jet fighter pretty much. But as soon as you are in the full landing configuration, it gets very docile, and it's like very easy to control it, which that much of a difference I haven't seen or felt in any other plane. So it really feels special. Also, one unique thing is that you can land with the yaw damper on. I have seen a video about it, that it's done in a way that when you're in landing configuration, your inputs will overpower the yaw damper, right? So you can leave it on up until touchdown, or like even after touchdown, which is also something that is unique. So in general, this is something that I really like about this plane, that there are so many of those like quirks, right, and stuff that is done totally differently than in other planes. Plus, it's fun that it's so crazy fast. So today we had some headwind, so it wasn't so impressive, but normally when I'm cruising it, I have like 500 knots ground speed, which is really impressive. And actually this terrain is also impressive. Okay. So I'm wondering, will it go down itself or not? Okay, so for now maybe let's help him and go down at least to this 2,900. Okay, so I'm using the maneuver button, right, that allows me to manually change the pitch, right? And then I have disabled it, and it should catch this vertical speed where I was at. I'm not sure if this is safe, but this is how it was on the chart. From Rim V. Oh, there's actually an additional... Oh, okay, so I got it wrong. Okay, so let's just do altitude hold. because there is actually like a small waypoint that I have missed after this mountain, and this is where you start going to 2900. Okay, so my fault. Which I think with this terrain is obvious, right? Why it is mainland. Come on. Come on, Sim. Don't do it to me. I don't think it's also California, because I was flying in the new California after the changes, and it wasn't so bad. Okay, so the interesting fact is that the second notch of flaps is actually also okay at 200, right? So we can use it. And now it will also want probably gear, I would assume. Now we can start descending. Let me just change this. Now I can use this maneuver mode to descend. Okay. Nice, nice, nice. And with the second notch of flaps, we shouldn't be gaining too much speed. Yeah, I really like how it looks in the landing configuration. Pretty neat. Okay, let's make sure everything is set up. So altitude set, the glide path, I guess, if we catch it. And this is also fine, and we are still on F. Okay. Yeah, to be honest, I'm not sure if it is supposed with this retro avionics to fly an RNAV approach, but for me it has captured the glide path when I was doing it in Juno, so. But it's supposed to be starting in naps, the path, from what I can see. Oh, whoa. We just went into hyperspace for a second. Yeah. I mean, maybe later I will try out the plane without chase plane, but like uninstalling it is really a lot of suffering, sadly. Okay, so we have 2900 at this one, so this is how it was supposed to be. So let's now select the next step down, which is 1800. Okay, let's do alt select. Okay, we are getting a little bit too slow, so let's add some power. And let's descend. But first, let him stabilize on the path. Okay. Now, once again, this maneuver button just to change the pitch, right? So we will arrive at 1900 at the next one. Okay, and now it should be blocked and followed. I can also adjust the track here, so this is here 077. We are getting too fast, so let's reduce it. Again, you can see the glide path incoming, so I would assume it should probably catch it. So we will see. Let's get rid of some additional speed that we don't need. So excess speed is what I wanted to say. Okay, and it seems like we are pretty much ready. I don't see the runway, which is a little bit concerning. I think it's this one. Yeah, and I think it should catch it. So it catches like the glide path, but doesn't have VNAV functionality, obviously, so it didn't bring us down to the beginning of the glide path. Okay, so it kind of makes sense. Could be expected. Okay, and now let's just bring it down to runway elevation. Okay, and let's see if this will work out. If not, then we will just do it manually. Okay, looks promising. Yeah, and we have it captured. Okay, so RNAV works. Okay, and approach speed is, I think, 126. Let me just double check. 126. Such a good memory. Okay. And let's just... And now we can do the last notch of flaps. You need 150 or less, right? So let's just decelerate a little tiny bit. Now we can do the last one. Okay, nice. Now we can also enjoy Santa Barbara. Now I can hide this one. I can click here. And also let's hide the whole attachment. Yeah, and I really like it. Like, not only that it looks great in approach configuration and landing configuration, but it also feels totally different, as I said, than when in normal flight. So this part of the flight model is for sure very nicely done. The signal just tells us that we are like 1000 away. Right? Okay, nice, nice, nice. I probably forgot something like always, despite following the checklist. Okay, let's not get too slow, right? Okay. Some horrible freezes. This seems nice. There's like a lot of resolution in those hills here. Okay, so now we are a little bit too fast. Okay, this is armed, so we will have to deploy the spoilers manually, and also obviously deploy the thrust reversers manually. Okay, so we made it. Probably like a small bounce at the beginning. Sadly, we just got those stutters exactly when it was the worst possible thing to do. I did turn on the steering button here, so we will be able to turn. Where is my taxiway? I was expecting it to be here. So, is this a taxi? Yeah, okay, so this is the taxi line. Strange. Okay, and we do have a new bug splatter. Must have died on the approach, I guess. Okay, so let's just hold here. That's saying it was like in the landing area, was not so bad, I guess. So let me just do the checklist here. Okay, so stall warning off is here, ignition off is here, thrust reversers can be disarmed. Okay, nice. Cabin air, let's unpressurize it. But the temperature will also drop. Okay, anti-ice system, turn on windshield heat, turn on pitot heat. Okay. And this is fine, lights as desired, so we are changing those to taxi lights. Okay, and here, sadly it's like a two-pilot plane, so a lot of stuff is hidden on this side. So I don't want the strobe. I actually forgot about the recognition light, as I said I would. Okay. Okay, and we can taxi with one thrust lever, but I just have like a connected throttle, so it's not an option for me. Spoilers are retracted, flaps are up. Okay, so this is fine. Hydraulic pressure is fine. Okay. Unnecessary avionics, autopilot and radio altitude is not needed, and the transponder can go to standby. Okay. So many choices. Okay, let's go here. Yeah, some nice hills here. So this is for sure. I just need to stop looking around. Okay. Yeah, guys, so when it comes to those freezes, it's like totally my fault. I was testing the plane before and testing this area before, and there was only some small freezes, which I think come from the conflict between chase plane and the plane. And it wasn't as annoying as it is today when we are flying. So once again, sorry I did the tests, but like always with recording, it will be worse when it's live. So yeah. Some interesting car models. Is it like a Fiat? It's hard to say. Okay, so let's just do the rest. The shutdown checklist, so parking brake is on, anti-ice systems are all off. Emergency lights, I don't think we have them. Avionics go to off. Standby attitude should be cageable, but I don't know. Thrust levers cut off. Okay, sorry. Okay. And okay. Okay, gen switches go to off, inverters go to off, fuel transfer was not on, so this is not a problem, cross flow was also off. Now we can turn off all of the lights and also the taxi lights, which are here. Okay, beacon light is off, and now the batteries can also go off. And this battery, which is the emergency battery, also goes off. Okay. Now we can go back to this and go back to this. And now this is interesting. Okay, so how to open it now? Like this, and this, and this. It's not so easy, but it's a lot of fun. So I do always enjoy such small details as this one. So one thing that I don't know how to do is actually put on all of those covers back, because now we don't have, do we? No, I don't think that we have the click spots anymore. And I think I saw a discussion where somebody said that it's not possible, like if you do it this way, if you code it this way, but I'm not sure. So probably people that are flying the career mode know more, because as I said, the developer decided to use the career mode just because he wants it to be as compatible with career mode as possible, right? So this would explain it. And here we can also check the gear after our great landing. Okay, so let me just here instant. Okay, so the condition is fine. So I'm just assuming that the rest is also fine. Yeah, with chase plane and this additional vibrations and movement in the cockpit, the landings are always like a little bit over dramatic. That's saying it for sure could be better. Wasn't perfect. Okay, guys, so when it comes to California, I will for sure want to take something that is flying like lower and slower, just to enjoy all of the detail. Maybe something that is not causing so much lag in combination with chase plane. So we will for sure come back to California and also do some flights. And when it comes to the plane, it's quirky, it's strange. It's probably the most expensive GA plane there is, because it's $66. But at the same time, there is a lot of unique stuff in it, so it's like your decision, like always. Okay, so thank you for following this flight, and see you in future GA flying videos. Bye-bye.